computer.
Mad thing.
Okay, so people, welcome to the first show where me and my boy Chris, we are going to be discussing all things football. So if you like football, people, I'm so looking forward to you watching this video. We are going to be discussing a lot of things. But before I even start, please, sir, would you please introduce yourself? Tell us about your history with football, where you come from, your team, all that kind of stuff.
Lovely. Yeah, Christopher, John, CJ to my friends. Love football. Eat, drink, sleep football.
Yeah.
Big Liverpool fan. You can vouch for that, can't you?
I can.
Big Liverpool fan, but London based.
Yeah.
So try and get out there once a year, certainly pre-COVID. You're going to ask, how did I get into supporting Liverpool?
I am.
It was John Barnes. He looked like the male role model that I had as I was growing up. And I was like, he is awesome. I'm going to support the team he plays for. So I was fortunate he had just moved from Watford to Liverpool. So that's just how it is. And you just create affiliation. So after him, it was Steve McManaman. Then it was Steven Gerrard. Right now, it's probably a toss-up between Sadio Mane and Virgil van Dijk.
What? Who are your main guys?
Yeah, so the gang. You know what I mean? So
okay.
I think that's
we're talking 25, nearly 30 years.
Yeah. Listen.
Loyal support through the wilderness years.
I might have been alive when we won certain things, right? But the truth of the matter is, I've been suffering. Like I have been suffering. We've won one Premier League title, which I'm claiming. I don't care what anyone says, but we won it in COVID.
You're allowed to claim it.
Yeah, but we won it in COVID. We didn't get to have a parade. We're not going to have a parade because too many years have passed.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. But if you're asking me, I'm not one of these Liverpool fans who claims that we should win everything. I'd love us to win everything, but I didn't grow up in that era. But at least I can say in my whole 40 years, I've seen them win a Premier League title, an FA Cup, a League Cup.
Oh yeah, man. You must be. You're loving it right now. I am. Your team, as I said, you went through the wilderness years. Now, as you can clearly see behind me here.
Oh dear.
You talk about wilderness. I am living on the old. I am becoming the new Liverpool fan. Even though I'm an Arsenal fan myself, what I mean is we're living on past glories. Hasn't been too many glories recently. Don't get me wrong, the team is all going in the right direction now, but it's been it has been the City show, the Chelsea show, the Liverpool show. They are the big main three teams in the English Premier League. If you're wondering what league we're talking about, I have to say, take my hat off. So really good.
We're not putting United in that bracket. Not so much for winning.
Not in the last 10 years. In the last 10 years, I would say that the teams that have been on the ascendancy have been your Cities, your Liverpools, your Chelseas. United have been there.
Debatable. If it were since 19 is when we won the Champions League. Before that, we hadn't won anything since 2012.
Yeah, I would also probably say influence as well. I mean, you had some. You may not have won it, but I remember watching the Liverpool team with Suarez in it. You didn't win the league, but you should have done. You had quality. There was quality there. But
it hurts.
I'm gonna put it out there.
Go on.
This current episode, the very first episode that you and me are gonna be talking about, we're gonna lay the foundations, right? This chat is about laying the foundations. This conversation is going to be about the best Premier League team ever.
No pressure. We've come straight in off the bat.
We're gonna lay the foundations with and I'm talking about the Premier League years. So I want to know each team, and I'm going to stipulate we are going to go with a 4-4-2 formation.
I like it.
We're not going to mess around with any back threes and wing backs. Simple 4-4-2, defenders, midfielders, strikers. We are going to go We're going to start from the back and work our way forwards.
Perfect.
I want you to tell me who your main person is, and there will be honourable, honourable mentions, players that you also have said, they need to be mentioned. They are quality, and I want to hear it. And don't get me wrong, we may differ in our opinions, or we may agree.
I think
obviously we have known each other for many years, so I think we kind of know who we would have. Yeah. And also, and the other thing as well, I must also say, is because of our age, we are fortunate enough to be able to talk about the Premier League in its entirety. From 1992, you and I have been watching football.
Yeah,
there are some quality players out now that probably would have made the squad over longevity. Over a period of time, they would have made it. But we are fortunate enough to have seen those teams, those players.
Exactly.
So that's why some of the team names we might mention, you might mention, or I might mention, people go, well, who?
Who are they? Yeah,
you're showing your age if you say who. Exactly. Right. So let's get cracking. We're going to start with our goalkeepers.
Going to start straight off the bat. Okay.
We are talking goalkeeper. Yeah. Who makes Premier League team of the best ever?
Best ever. All right.
Yeah.
It's hard, but okay. I'm going to put a list just off the dome, right?
Yeah.
Peter Schmeichel, David Seaman.
Yeah.
Peter Cech.
Yeah.
Edwin van der Sar.
Yeah.
Like, if you're talking longevity, clean sheets, trophies to back it up, just ability to command their boxes, are they maybe top tier for me? You've got Courtois, he's brilliant. David De Gea, he's been brilliant over time.
Yeah.
But I think those four that I mentioned, they set the standard that the rest have followed. Mm-hmm. And so that's my group of four. Do you differ?
So you've got Schmeichel, Cech, Seaman, and Van der Sar.
Van der Sar, yeah.
Right. Okay. So two United goalkeepers, one Chelsea, one Arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So so who is first team and who is bench?
Again, I think it's still only between two. That's a pool of four, brilliant goalkeepers, but I think it's two. And I'm gonna go with Peter Schmeichel. I just think the command of his box, the aura that he had, and he was a world-class goalkeeper. He was a world-class goalkeeper.
Okay, so Peter Schmeichel, he is the first person that we put because this is. I have to agree. I can't fault as much as the thing is, right. And my understanding is obviously Peter Schmeichel. He was in that great Manchester United team that won everything. They were amazing. They played so well. Broke my heart in that FA Cup semi-final where Ryan Giggs runs down the the penalty save against Bergkamp. Yeah. I mean, it was one of those games which gives you headache. You get stressed, but time is a healer. I've healed now. And
good.
Schmeichel, Seaman was a great goalkeeper. Did fantastically well for Arsenal. Amazing for England. Peter Cech is an amazing goalkeeper with his stats for clean sheets are excellent.
Yeah.
But he was in a very, very good side.
This is it.
That went, and obviously the Mourinho years of Chelsea, they didn't lose at home.
No.
Years. I mean, literally, it was a fortress. Chelsea, imagine being a player and going to a Mourinho Chelsea, knowing that they are very tight with goals.
Yeah.
Clean sheets is what Cech is designed for, with wearing that helmet covering his head. Never let in a goal.
No.
So but for commanding personality, for just that ability to, when he shouted at you, you heard it. when he shouted at you to get in the box, man mark, defend, Schmeichel was pretty much.
You heard it. That's the thing. You heard it. He was a presence.
He was brilliant. Now, this is where obviously this is going to be on, on social media. This is where I say to you guys, who do you think? Who would you class as your best goalkeeper of the Premier League years? Now, I'm interested to see if you agree with us. If you say no, it's if you're a modern person, you might go with some of the modern guys. But for us as we're oldies now, I mean, can you believe it? We're now oldies. We go with Schmeichel. So who's on the bench?
Who's on the bench?
Who is goalkeeper number 2?
David Seaman.
Seaman for you. Yeah. I think after what I've said, and don't get me wrong, I'm an Arsenal fan. But I think Peter Cech probably does it for me.
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he could never save a penalty.
This is my point. I look at Seaman and I think unflappable. Yeah? Unflappable.
Yeah.
Good penalty save,
He let us down with a few lobs. I mean, I think it was a Ronaldo. Was it a Ronaldinho lob?
Ronaldinho, yeah.
Naeem for Tottenham. Oh no, when he played for Galatasaray, I think it was.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just think
it wasn't fun.
When he was in goal, right? The goal looked small, right? His name was Safe Hands.
Yeah.
His name was Safe Hands.
I have to agree.
He had many different challenges. Look, we haven't spoken about other people. Like Tim Flowers was a very good goalkeeper.
Quality.
He is nothing on David Seaman for England. Absolutely nothing. But he was a very good goalkeeper. Yeah. Nigel Martin, very good goalkeeper. Couldn't get in because David Seaman was consistent. He was reliable. Yeah. So Peter Cech, he is good. Edward van der Sar, good.
Quality.
Were they for me better than David Seaman? Not really.
Okay. No, but this is the beauty of having a discussion, and we will agree to disagree, but actually it tells us that there was quality in the Premier League. The Premier League has produced some amazing players over the years, some real quality. And even with our goalkeepers, we're already going, well.
One of my favourite goalkeepers was Shay Given. He just never played in a good team, but I thought he was an amazing goalkeeper.
Yeah, he was really good. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, okay. So let's go on to who's your left back?
Oh, left back. You know what? It comes down to three individuals. I know who I feel number one.
Who are your 3?
My 3 are Patrice Evra, Dennis Irwin, and Ashley Cole. But honourable mention to Stuart Pearce.
Okay, so I wrote down, and I've got my notes here.
Yeah.
As an Arsenal fan, and you're going to say I'm being biased, I've got Nigel Winterburn.
I don't know about that.
Nigel Winterburn was a quality player. You've got Leighton Baines, who a free kick specialist, and was just absolutely amazing. These are also mentions because I cannot go outside of Ashley Cole being the guy. For me, it's Ashley Cole. As much as he hurts me when he left us and went to the Blues, the fact is he was the best, in my opinion, the Premier League.
Yeah.
And so I don't even think there's a discussion for me personally.
I think it's hard to disagree. Evra
obviously, Irwin. I mean, do you know what? And this is what about Lasso?
No.
Brian Lasso don't make it for you. Do you know how good he was?
He's not better. In my humble opinion, he's not better than the 3 that I mentioned.
Okay.
Like Dennis Irwin was attacking fullbacks, Yeah. He was pre that. And he would score goals, free kicks, he'd get up and down. Like he was just, I was like, wow, this guy is amazing. And Evra comes in.
Yeah.
And then he's just, no, sorry. No, he doesn't.
So why does it, obviously I've already said who I want, but why, in your opinion, does Ashley Cole go ahead of Patrice Evra?
Why? A lot of those players, like, they didn't have to play against what we would deem as the best. Because if you think of the Premier League era when Ashley Cole was playing, his team, Arsenal and United were the standout teams, right?
Yeah.
And he had to come up against what I would deem as some of the hardest opponents you can come up against in world football. Either in the Premiership, in the Champions League, and whatever. And I very rarely saw him get done. Like, I don't remember a time when Ashley Cole has played and Arsenal, Chelsea have been absolutely tonked. I've seen Evra make mistakes. Liverpool went to Old Trafford, we beat them 4-1. He gave away a pen. It was just a bad day at the office. But I can remember that. I can't remember very often Ashley Cole being put on toast. I can't.
Put on toast, I love it. Yeah, no, it's true. He really did. He was just a very good professional, very, and just a great player. So I think I have to agree. I mean, the thing is, what about your boy Robertson? Has he proved
he's
himself?
not in the conversation. He's not in
the conversation.
No.
Do you know what? He's a hybrid. Do you not see him? I mean, so do you see him not being good 10 years ago?
He's not good. He's just, if you're talking about the greatest, it's longevity, it's ability to
I know that, but what I'm saying is if this Liverpool team carry on doing well, winning more titles, winning more competitions, and just dominating the way they are at the moment, wouldn't Robertson be part of the conversation?
He might be part of the conversation.
So for you, he's not part of the conversation because he has he hasn't been in the Premier League long enough. So he's had maybe 2 great seasons, right?
Yeah.
And he doesn't seem to be letting off. He seems to be doing still doing very, very well, still playing good football. He's a great size and a great team. And he does, his crosses are amazing. He has to do a lot of running.
Yeah, he does.
When you think who's in front of him.
He fits the bill for what Liverpool are trying to do now perfectly. But if you're talking about the greatest, you are a component of a team as an individual that if you are taken out of it, the team does not function the same, right? Ashley Cole, the last time Arsenal, like before, the FA Cups recently, the last time Arsenal challenged for the league was their left back.
Yeah.
Once it went to Salvino and the other guy, Clichy and those guys, Arsenal have not won the league since. He went to Chelsea and they spent a lot of money, lots of investment and whatever, but they won the league. They won the Champions League. That to me, it's not about just trophies, but he would battle against Ronaldo. Yeah. He played up against the likes of Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, and whatever. And he wouldn't.
Maybe our next chat should be the best ever. Best in Europe, we'll start with Premier League and then we move on and we'll go to bigger.
You give me somebody who is doing that or is of those levels who Andy Robertson is playing against, and that's where I'm coming from. Okay. It's just a different era for me, and he wouldn't make the greatest ever.
So are you saying then that Ashley Cole starts and Evra is on the bench?
Yes.
Okay, right. Yes. Then that's locked in. So we have Peter Schmeichel in goal. We have Ashley Cole on the left. Let's go to the opposite side now and let's discuss right backs. Who is in your? In fact, let me tell you my list.
Yes, please.
Obviously Gary Neville.
Yeah.
Okay. He is in the discussion. Lee Dixon is also. I know people that will watch this now go, Johnny's going to say every Arsenal player. he's just going to talk about the Invincibles. Listen, Lee Dixon was a quality player. I think. See, now I know you're not going to agree with me, but and I can't say his name. I think it's Azpilicueta.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
aka Dave,
aka
Chelsea,
Dave, yep.
has proven himself and longevity to be there. But I also think that, and this is where I think I've shot myself in the foot now, because I think Trent Alexander Arnold, I think he also is someone we have to mention as an honorable, an honorary mention.
Okay.
Purely simply because his crosses are almost like they're like Beckham. I feel almost he's pinpointing and doing so well.
Okay.
I also think that Zabaleta needs to be mentioned.
Wow. Okay. All right. I
think that I think Sanya needs to be mentioned as well. Only because when he was in an Arsenal team, he stood out for me as a really, really good player, and he was good enough that United bought him. So that City bought him. So I always look at it as he's there. But if you're going to say to me, this is why it's annoying, because now that we've got the parameters set, a lot of the modern names I've said have been disqualified. And
I agree.
If I disqualify them, then it means that Gary Neville kind of is the only one that I can put as the first team. I can't put him over Lauren. I can't put him over Lee Dixon. I'd have to say Gary Neville.
Yeah. I was thinking about this, and I was like, have there been many great ones? And I think Chelsea have been very, very blessed. They had Dan Petrescu, had Ivanovic.
Yes.
They were different fullbacks to what you see today. They were different to Neville. On the right-hand side, they were different. But then if I was going with the same criteria of what I was choosing for the left-hand side, purely defending, very rarely got terrorized and just was solid, right? It went down to Neville or Lee Dixon, because they were in solid teams.
So you got my two.
Solid individuals. Solid individuals. They very rarely got toasted. Petrescu just didn't play long enough.
No.
For me, Ivanovic wasn't really a fullback. I felt he was.
What was he?
He played right back, but I just don't think he was a fullback in the same vein. I think Trent is not part of this conversation at this moment in time, because people will say his weakness is actually defending. And to me, if you're going to make the greatest team of the Premiership era, you have to do your job first. I don't disagree with the stats, but you have to defend first. And so that is why Gary Neville and Lee Dixon, for me, were the standouts. Just for me.
You know what? It's funny. I don't know what other people will say who are watching this video now, because obviously they'll have their own ideas of the team. And when, at the beginning, I said it's going to be a 4-4-2.
Yeah.
And obviously, the minute you make it that, there are great players that will instantly be disqualified because they may not play in that position. Yes. And the reason I said 4-4-2 because easy. To me, it's like an easy formation. Let's just do it that way and be done with it. But again, with Peter Schmeichel in goal and Gary Neville obviously on the right, Ashley Cole on the left, you've already got a fortress. You've got we've already got the very beginnings of a fortress, very, very strong. And I wonder if there's a similarity in their personalities. I wonder if you sat down and spoke with them, would there be a common trend of that sort of very, not aggressive, but very much, I know what I need to do and I'm going to do it. And I don't care how difficult I'm going to make your life. I'm in my position. Ashley Cole was he was a shorter guy. This is nothing as well. Ashley Cole wasn't the tallest guy, was he? He was a shorter guy, but where he lost out in maybe his height, he gained in football sense. He knew where to be, and he had speed. He had the ability to track back. And if you skinned him, and you now knew you had someone sprinting at you, a little bit like Carl Walker. You know, Carl Walker has the same kind of mentality. I mean, we could have mentioned it, but I think, like you said, I think Kyle Walker is very much like he can be like a headless chicken.
Yeah, sometimes.
But for his pace, you know that if you skin him and you've beaten him, you haven't skinned him totally. He's catching you, you know.
But one that's running through the team already is that mentality. It's a winning mentality. And I think you're going to see over the course of the team building, that team that's going to run all the way through. Yeah.
Okay. So I think this could be I think this is a difficult position. When I was doing my research on this conversation, I said the most difficult position for me is going to be central midfield and my centre backs. Who am I going to have as my defenders? I think because we're in any team, any setup, it has to be balanced.
Yes.
And you need to have the right kind of, you know, if you're going to have an attacking midfielder, a defensive midfielder, you're going to have two defensive midfielders and expect your wingers to do all the work. I mean, you've got to have a good balance of players. And one thing the Premier League has produced, and I'm going to use a big word here, a plethora.
Plethora.
Love that word. Of amazing central defenders. So who starts, who sits on the bench, sir?
Oh, right. Like you, this one, the pool just kept on getting longer and longer and longer. And so the issue will be in terms of not the greatest, not their ability.
Okay.
I think you then start to have to look at how long were they actually in the Premiership. All right. And hear me out on this. These are just a few names I'm going to rattle off. Tony Adams.
Tony Adams, okay,
Marcel Desailly, bro. Right?
Yeah.
Rio Ferdinand.
Yes.
Yeah. Vincent Kompany.
Yes.
John Terry.
Definitely John Terry.
Vidic.
Okay.
Yapstam.
Wow.
I haven't even mentioned Virgil van Dijk, but that's 8 big boys.
Yeah.
And you've got to whittle that down to 2.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that. So I started to say, all right, how long were they in the Premiership? Because in terms of ability, like, I like defenders who defend, right? Mm-hmm. So then I was saying to myself, oh, does that mean that Rio drops out? Because he was good, but was he particularly better than, let's say, Vidic and Stam when it came to defending, right? So there's an argument there.
I mean, I felt he had leadership.
Yes.
I felt that as he got older, you know, when he sort of went from, he was a West Ham boy, then he went to Leeds.
That's right.
And then from Leeds, the troubled move to United. But he came to United, and as he got older, because he was cemented as part of the England team as well. So I kind of, if I saw the England team and Rio was in it, I felt, there's a strength there. He's a good. I mean, I know you think. I think he is a good defender.
I do.
He was another one like Ashley Cole, who had speed, who had pace, who was able to catch you. But I don't know, why have you highlighted his defensive capabilities?
No, it's like I said, for me, my team, I want my defenders to defend.
Yeah.
And I still want them to have that element of class about them, but I want my defenders to defend. On the rare occasion, I would see Rio get skinned by somebody like Craig Bellamy, right? I would see him just fall asleep, and then I'm just like, no, like, because Vidic was the same. Sometimes we'd play against Liverpool, play against United, and Vidic would have a terrible game against Torres, absolutely terrible. But that doesn't mean he's not a good defender, and it's the same with Rio. I think he's brilliant, but for me, defend first. And if you're then going to ask me, right, who does it come down to? I've whittled it down to 5, from 8 to 5.
So who's been relegated?
I can't even tell you, but right now, the people who continue to make the next stage, Adams, Terry, Stam, Vidic. Oh no, maybe it's 4. Oh no, Sol Campbell.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That's the 5. I think maybe you take Stam away because he wasn't here for long.
No.
Right? And then really, it's just a total toss-up as to, because these 4, for me, when it comes to defending, put your body on the line.
Yeah.
They've all got leadership. Like, I just don't know how you differentiate those four. They are they're not a cut above, but I just defending. They're it for me. They're it for me.
So thing is, but I think I said this to you before.
Yeah.
There was some. I put down Van Dijk in my list of defenders, but as you said, based on longevity and basically legacy.
Yes.
He's a flash in the pan. He hasn't been here long enough, but in the short time that he has been here, he has been amazing.
Yeah.
And you know, when you think he came from Celtic, which is you know, the Scottish League, it's not, maybe, you know, there's not many teams in the Scottish League that are going to you know, challenge at the European level. He did very well in Scotland. He did. And then he came to England, and you thought, oh yeah, is he going to drown? And he was the best in England, you know. So he just improved and just got even better. Yeah. I don't like John Terry. I think John Terry is one of these players that what he did outside of work, outside of his job, kind of made me dislike him.
Okay, fair.
But I cannot, you know, I can't exclude him. Yeah. Because of you know, the kind of person he is. I can't exclude him because, you know, he had certain views on certain people, you know. Yeah. You know. Yeah, I hear that. And for leadership, he does stand out for me. He does. And I think, and then so initially I would have said Tony Adams and John Terry, right? Okay. But Tony Adams was very slow. He was one of those people. They used to call him Donkey because he could read the game very well, and there was very few times you get round him. But there were a lot of games where he would seem a little bit jaded, a little bit slow on the turn. And he was, as I said, absolutely brilliant defender. And if you ever watch his videos, you think I'm slating, I'm not. I'm saying that his leadership would have got him the captaincy of my team. You know, his leadership and the way which he would, you know, drag up his arms and, you know, get his sleeves up and force his team through would make him a captain. But because John Terry came in and did all what Adams does and more. Right. Okay. I suddenly meant that John Terry became my defender, not Adams, because it was one of those two. It was. Yeah. I couldn't decide which one of them did I want to go with. Okay. Because who's the partner? See, this is the thing. I can't escape Sol Campbell. Because he made the final four for me. Because Sol Campbell, for me, when he came from, because remember, he was a captain of Tottenham and he came to us at Arsenal, and he just was. So I know we're talking about Premier League, but my very first recollection of a defender was a guy called Des Walker. Yeah. I used to say his song was "You'll Never Beat Des Walker." Yeah. Because the man just was a mountain. You didn't get past him. So much so that when he went to Italy, he was again a superb defender. Yeah. So in my mind, I have Des Walker as in many ways the benchmark, but he was not the Premier League. So once we get to the Premier League, who do I think was the best defender? I can't get past Terry. Because he not only did he win everything, but he was he would put his head in someone's boot. He would take a lick. Now, how many times he'd come off with black eyes and blood dripping from his head, and he would defend, and he defended 2 years worth of no losses at his home ground. That's true. True. You know, when you look at that, you just can't.
I argue that. Because he was the leader, no doubt about it.
He was, and
I felt that Carvalho was a better defender.
No, defender. This is wow. You've just, you know what? There's a famous saying that Terry was not the same when Carvalho wasn't there. And Carvalho was more the quieter of the two defenders.
Yeah.
And Terry was English, and he was, captain, and he was
captain, leader, legend, wasn't he?
But
Captain,
Carvalho did sweep up if there was any mess.
Carvalho, as a pair, I rated Carvalho.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But again, he wasn't there long enough. And with everything that you said about John Terry, that is why he makes the final cut, because he did win everything. He outlasted so many. Listen, he played alongside Gallas. He got rid of Gallas. He got rid of Carvalho. There was just so many players he played alongside. Yeah, but he always played.
Yeah,
he always played.
He did. He was brilliant. I mean, so I think my two central defenders will be Sol Campbell and John Terry. I think that's who I'm going to go with. And actually, I'm going to go as far as giving the captaincy of my team to John Terry.
To John Terry. Okay.
Yeah.
I will go with, I think Terry makes it. I think when we spoke about this before, I did say Sol Campbell. Well, I think I said Campbell and Tony Adams. I think if I'm correct, I'm going to replace Sol Campbell with John Terry, but Adams still makes it. Adams is
okay. Well, then you've got two amazing leaders.
Listen,
they're going to argue with each other.
I think. You know what? You've gone with all of my shouts. I'll take yours. I'll take yours this time. Sol Campbell and John Terry. It's fine.
Right.
That's fine.
So Schmeichel in goal, Ashley Cole on the left,
yeah,
John Terry and Sol Campbell in the middle, and on the right we have Gary Neville.
Have you noticed not many teams are getting in?
I know, it's very closed shot so far.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So let's go with who is on the left wing.
Whew. This was another one as well. I think when we spoke, there were some people who from the left-hand side had made us get out of our seats. And there was one name we didn't mention that afterwards I thought, we did him dirty. We did a couple of people dirty, really. But if you're talking from the left, the two that we picked were
Robert Perez.
Yeah, Giggs and Robert Perez.
And Giggs.
Bro, we didn't mention Gareth Bale.
No.
We didn't mention Eden Hazard.
Very true.
Those, I think, were two players who deserved to at least be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, do you remember when Nasri was just on fire at Arsenal? Mm-hmm. I remember the thing is he didn't. I wish he'd stayed with us, but obviously it was the money at City that was calling shots at the time, and obviously they were buying quality players, and he was one of them that went.
Yeah,
but Nasri was always someone that I just loved watching.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Obviously, Perez was, amazing. It was just brilliant. Yeah. David Ginola at Tottenham.
Yes,
he was. For the short time that he was there, you knew that he scored some amazing goals. He was very, very, very good at what he did. Yeah. But just for me personally,
let's see what you're going to do here.
It's going to be Giggs.
Bro, I'm sorry to say.
And the reason I say Ryan Giggs is I remember I don't know if you remember this, right? When Ryan Giggs first started playing football, he never did interviews.
No.
And for 2-3 years, we didn't even know what he sounded like. He was just this long-haired, moppy kid who just could just skin you alive, score goals. Yeah. He was just the best player in the Premier League. And from 1992 when the Premier League came into existence, that Manchester United side was was brilliant. Yeah. And I remember seeing Ryan Giggs. I'm fortunate enough to have watched him go from his first game to when he retired, and the mere fact that he stayed at one club, loyal to a fault, scored lots of goals, broke lots of records, and forgetting, and let's not for a second talk about all the extra stuff in his life and whatnot. We're just focusing on the footballing side of him. I would say that Ryan Giggs would be my choice.
Yeah.
And I'd probably, and I hate to say it because I wouldn't want Robert Perez on the bench.
No,
I would have to put Ryan Giggs on the field, and I would have Perez on the bench. That's just for me.
And I have to agree with you, because when we think of what we're doing here, it's the greatest Premier League team. It's not the people who have given us the best moments, or the person who had the best ability. It is when you're looking at the greatest ever players who played in the Premiership, who make the first 11. You have to have Ryan Giggs on the left-hand side. I know when we spoke about it, we spoke about some of the goals that Perez, like the moments that Perez had put together. Like, and I just thought,
over Schmeichel.
Over Schmeichel, stop it. Like, are you dumb? Like, are you dumb to even
He's
try
amazing.
that? Schmeichel, like,
how can you boy my goalkeeper?
I know, this is it.
But my goalkeeper we've chosen.
Yeah, got lobbed. Like, it was just brilliant. But he gave us lots of moments. But if you're talking about the greatest, Ryan Giggs set the benchmark, because you do not play for a team like Manchester United, who are constantly winning things, right? And you be a starter, not just any guy, a starter for just time.
Yeah.
No, do
you think that and this is no disrespect to him, but do you think he would have been more well known had he not been Welsh? Like,
no,
he would have had a better. Do you think he would have a better? Because obviously he didn't get to go to the World Cup.
It doesn't matter. Like, to me, greatness is not. Everybody knows who Ryan Giggs is. Yeah, everybody knows.
I know that. But what I mean is, do you think that if you'd put, let's just say that, obviously, when he started out, he played for England, didn't he? He played for England his first. Yeah. If he was in an England team, do you think he would have made England better?
There's no doubt he would have made England better.
I mean, who was England's left wing when Ryan Giggs was at Wales?
It was any one of Lampard, Gerrard, Scholesy. There was never sometimes Joel Cole. Like, there was never anybody who you know what I mean.
That's a good players.
You're not going to replicate Ryan Giggs. There is no way, right? And had he played for England, which in all honesty, it wasn't ever going to happen. His dad was English, but I believe his mum was Welsh. He played under Ryan Wilson. He used Giggs. Listen, there's a whole lot there. He's not English.
Yeah.
He wasn't English, right? He didn't.
I know. I was just thinking that he, you had Georgie Best, who was Northern Ireland. Northern Irish. And then you've had some really great players over the years who've played for minnows, smaller international teams. If they had been given the opportunity with, they were the big fish, and there wasn't anyone. The Welsh team now have got much more good players in each position. Where when Ryan Giggs was playing, there was. I mean, he had Mark Hughes, but you can't have two players. You need more.
But I don't know if I actually agree with that, because when he came through, and don't quote me on this, but Wales, Neville Southall,
right? Good goalkeeper,
they've had the likes of Gary Speed, they, like you said,
Craig
they
Bellamy.
had Mark Hughes, Craig Bellamy. I don't really rate Robbie Savage, but if we're going to do that, like Ian Rush was still there, Dean Saunders. Do you know what I mean? They've had players who have played in the Premiership. For some reason, they couldn't get over the line. There was a guy what's that guy at Everton? He was at Everton and he was Welsh as well, like a midfielder guy. I can't remember his name. But they had enough players to qualify. I don't know whether it's because of their groups and whatever, but I personally feel they should have done better than they did. They're just now.
You think they underachieved? Oh, okay, cool, fair enough. Cool. No, that's fair enough. I mean, sorry, I know. I sometimes forget that when we're having a conversation, me and you, this is going to be out into YouTube where people will be watching it and they'll either agree or disagree. And as I said, I want your opinions, guys, because this is just our opinion. I want you to say what you think. If people are chatting rubbish, tell us.
That's it.
Who would be your team? Who would be in your best Premier League team. Make sure you put in the comments who you think would be.
I agree with you. Giggs on the left.
On the left. And for me, Perez on the bench. Who would you have on the bench? It's a big bench, by the way. It's a very big bench.
Yeah. This is it. No,
the whole team. We have a whole shadow team.
He probably, I don't know. I think it's a toss-up between him and Bale, because I think we didn't get enough of the top-tier Bale. No. But top-tier Bale was unbelievable.
He was blistering.
He was absolutely unbelievable.
That season where he just carried Tottenham is just, as much as I hate the Tottenham, side and team, you have to appreciate quality. And
Gareth
when you think Bale, he came to them as a wing back.
Yeah, exactly.
And he wasn't the greatest of defenders, but he had phenomenal pace.
Oh,
and
Robert Pires gave moments, but consistent. I don't know. It's a tough one. Greatest that I think Gareth Bale probably makes the bench, mate.
Okay, yeah, and to be fair, no one can question that's a very, very good, good bench. Okay, so right wing.
Right wing. I think when we came down to it, it was only 3 players, really. Yeah, and again, it came down to, because we didn't have the likes of Robin in the team. He didn't.
No, we didn't mention him. Even though he was a great player, I would say his best years were probably at Bayern rather than at Chelsea.
I agree.
Bayern got the best out of him.
And teams, the modern teams aren't really set up like that, where they would have a right winger. So really, it came down to the teams who were successful and of the previous kind of era, and looking at what their right wingers gave to them. And so it came down to 3: David Beckham, Cristiano Ronaldo pre Real Madrid, and Freddie Ljungberg, because I think he was one of the best at just ghosting in and getting goals at most really crucial times for Arsenal.
So who's on the field, and who is unfortunately sitting on the bench?
On the field, and I know this is not what I said previously, but I have changed my mind. It's Cristiano. Yeah. It's Cristiano. He was a one-trick pony to begin with, but actually, when I looked back at what he had done, he just about elevates himself over Beckham and Freddie.
Yeah, I mean,
he was
Ronaldo's final season at United, where he was scary.
Yeah,
and you knew that he would either score a free kick, score a header. He was just, I wonder if there was pundits that would say, where was he best? Was he best in that final season at United, or was he best in a Real Madrid, in a Real Madrid kit? He was the big fish in the Premier League.
Yes.
And then he went into a Spanish league where Messi was the big dog. And not only was Messi the big dog, but Barcelona was the big dog. Real Madrid were not as good a team. They were a bit disjointed. And if you could win 4 Champions Leagues, that to me says your quality. Does Sterling play on the right?
Did he for us? Yeah, I guess he did, but it's not a fourth. For me, the reason he doesn't get in, like he wasn't even considered because.
So I the only reason I said that was because I wrote down again Salah, Ronaldo, David Beckham, Sterling, and Freddie Ljungberg. Now, Freddie for me. See, if you're going to say to me now, Freddie Ljungberg and Ronaldo, then there's only one choice, because Ronaldo is just so much better. He was, but what Ljungberg was good at was what Lampard was good at.
That's
coming into the box and finishing, and you didn't even know he was there. Like he would just ghost in. Like the attack, the first attack has happened. On the overlap, he's there, or when they've recycled the ball, he's there.
Yeah.
I don't remember him being a great tackler, but he didn't need to be.
No.
And ultimately, he was just a really, really good player. But
that's the point.
When you have a
greatest ever.
Yeah, when you
elevate.
Yeah, and I think that's where you cannot have a best Premier League team. Okay, so guys, if you agree with me, fair enough. But I personally don't believe that you can have a greatest Premier League team and not have Ronaldo in it. He has to be in that squad because he really was just outstanding. You know, and to be fair, as a 37-year-old man, he still is amazing as a player. He still would bang in goals left, right, and centre. If he was in the Championship, he'd be a top goal scorer. He'd probably score 40 goals if he's in the Championship. But obviously in the Premier League, it's a very different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of uproar in United at the moment. And I don't think he's happy. So you can see that he's probably not going to, I'm glad he did come back to the Premiership for his last hurrah. David Beckham doesn't necessarily make my grade at all.
Okay. I had him in the original
No
team.
one could cross a ball like that man.
Yeah.
No one scored the sort of goals he scored. He single-handedly handed England a World Cup qualification with his goal, free kicks. He was brilliant.
Yeah.
I just didn't. I would have put Ronaldo and then Lundberg in front of him, and personally, I would put Salah in front of him as well.
Wow. Okay.
Because I think that what Salah has done.
Yeah.
Even though I know that he was, he's been to Chelsea, he's been to Italy, he's come back to Liverpool. He is feared, and if you can keep him, he will break even more records. I mean, he's not going to reach, your Aldridges and your, not
going to reach Rush.
He's not going to reach those guys. He's not going to reach those guys. Rush was just a beast. And one day I'd love for us to talk about him, just to discuss.
Yeah, sure.
It's not our era.
No.
So it's very difficult. We're talking about, by the time we started watching football and really appreciate it, Rush was an old man or an older man. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't.
He was on the decline.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the hype until as you start to get older, you now can understand the team and you go and do. And I was like, wow, he was really.
Oh man, he was a goal a game. What was it? His record was if he scored, they won.
Yeah.
That was quite simple. If he scored, they won.
Yeah.
Right. So we've spent a lot of time on that guy, but how about our central midfielders? Because we've established our team is very solid, but who's in the middle?
I think when I was thinking about this and when we spoke about it initially, I said that you wanted somebody who could do everything: tackle, pass, goes into the box, leadership qualities, scored goals. You wanted somebody who kind of was all action, could do everything, right?
So, sorry, I know I'm cutting you, but
no worries.
Who do you prefer to be a captain of your team? What position? Midfield or defense?
Midfield.
Yeah. I've actually given my captaincy to a defender.
Yeah.
But I understand as we're talking about it, I'm thinking, but a midfielder can link play between defense and the striking force. But go on, sorry, I just wanted to find out.
So when you talk about,
are you describing right now your captain?
No, I'm describing my central midfielder. But
okay,
there's a lot of players who don't make it because when you look at the criteria, there was elements that he missed. Xabi Alonso was great. He wasn't even an honourable mention. To be honest, he wasn't an honourable mention, right?
Okay.
I think of Claude Makelele, not an honourable mention. He's just not getting in. He was world class. He's not getting in.
Is it because he was better when he was in Europe, when he came to us?
Not even that. I think for me, did you have an eye for a pass? Not with the guys that you weren't levels of Vieira, Keane, Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes. You weren't my passer. So
yeah.
got that's where N'Golo even N'Golo Kante and Makelele, sorry, it was nice that you were here at the conversation, but both of you are not part of this. You're not here.
Kante does not even make the final.
He doesn't make
the final
He's a
draft.
brilliant player, got a wonderful legacy. But if you're talking greatest ever, he don't make it. Okay. Right? He don't make it. Who else is there? Like, I haven't even mentioned Yaya Toure. That guy was a boss.
Yeah.
An absolute boss. Yeah. A monster. And for me, I'm not sure he makes my team.
Did Paul Ince play Premier League? Did Paul Ince play Premier League?
He did, but he left and came back. And when he came back, he just wasn't.
No, I couldn't remember if he played in the Prem, but when he came to Manchester United, he was amazing.
Yeah, exactly. But again, he's not even in the conversation. Right?
Fabregas?
No, not in the conversation.
Essien?
No, not in the conversation. For me.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So we're okay.
And I might score an own goal with this, right? But it is what it is.
Yeah.
When we did it initially, said that I, as a Liverpool fan, couldn't have a team where, there's no Liverpool player, right? But I think you're getting closer and closer to that kind of situation where there won't be, because at the moment, there's only one who can get in, and he's in central midfield. But can you have the greatest ever Premiership team and he didn't win it?
So we're talking about Gerrard and whether or not he can be classed as one of in that midfield, but having not won the Prem. But he did win Champions League.
That's not the Premiership. For ability.
I feel so gutted for him that he was loyal to his club to a fault, captain the side.
Yeah.
He could have gone to Chelsea, and Mourinho wanted him at Chelsea, and he would have won a lot of things at Chelsea, but he chose to stay at Liverpool to protect his legacy. But when he goes on to punditry, when he's sitting next to Neville, he's sitting next to Thierry Henry, or he's sitting next to Alan Shearer, and these guys have all won amazing things. They've all done stuff, but they've all got the Premier League. They've all done.
Yeah.
They've got a Prem under their belt,
And that is why when you do things like this, he becomes a point of contention. Because if you're talking we've talked about longevity and this and that and ability and whatever. It all changes when it comes to him. It all changes because at the end of the day, some people we're going to come to somebody who chose to go to a team, because I'm talking about a striker here, but he went to a team that were challenging but hadn't won anything. Yeah. He never won anything with them, but he won the league with another team. So because of that one trophy, it makes him great. And look, his numbers and everything, he was great. Yeah. But Steven Gerrard won everything else there is to win. But because this is not in the whatever, people will say, your greatest ever player didn't even win the league. I don't want to hear it. So it's a tough one.
It's difficult, isn't it? I'll never forget that game where...
Don't go there.
He literally was praying. You could see he was like, we've done it. We have finally broken the back of the hoodoo of winning the league. And then...
Don't do it, Johnny. Don't do it. It's taken years to get over that. Don't do
Seriously,
it.
that fall and Denver Bar...
Oh my God, he did it.
Sorry. Listen, I told you, I mentioned the Ryan Giggs.
You did. Yeah.
Look, Ryan Giggs with his hairy chest running down the wing after he just knocked out the FA Cup. I felt pain. You think you felt pain? Have you been... Do you remember? 8-2. We went to United. We were beaten 8-2. You can't talk about pain.
Okay.
I'd 8-2 an Arsenal fan. Remember?
If he has not won it, does it mean he cannot be in the team? I need to know, because if it's a case of his ability and we're going to let him do it on ability, he gets in for me.
I kind of think every person that we've mentioned so far has won the league. Has won the league, and I think that this is a team of winners.
Fine, he doesn't get in there.
Not also Rans.
He doesn't get in.
But you are so correct that Gerrard is the anomaly because he was so good at what he did. Yeah. But because we're talking about the Premier League, and guys watching, this is where you come in. You understand the frustration now.
It's painful. It's painful because he was the only Liverpool player who got close. People will argue about a striker later on, and we can talk about that. But for me, realistically, he was the only one who could possibly get in. And if it's a case of really everybody else has won it, then he's not in. And it makes my decision a lot easier. It's Keane and Scholes. I would have said Vieira.
Yeah, so Vieira's my... So, go on.
Yeah, I would have said Vieira.
Scholes is there, but Scholes was a tackling liability.
Scholes was a tackling liability, but there wasn't anybody better about ghosting into the
and his passing ability.
Yeah, his passing ability was second.
Was it him that someone said he's he's the most underrated England player? I think it was Zidane maybe, or someone. Someone said that Scholes is the sort of player that years from now we'll go, wow, what do we have? Yeah, because he was. Yeah, he couldn't tackle.
No,
but and he would get sent off quite a lot, which was quite funny. Yeah. But he was brilliant, and he could split your team in half with a pass.
Yeah. So I'm going Keane and Scholes. Sorry, Lampard doesn't make it. Makaleli, N'Golo Kante, Steven Gerrard,
Emmanuel Petit.
No, he wasn't here long enough.
No, he wasn't. No. So all right. So This is another one of those things because it's the two players that hated each other the most that I would have in my middle.
Yep.
Vieira and Roy Keane.
I had them originally, and I thought no, I would have had Gerrard, but if it wasn't going to be Gerrard, I thought no, Scholes. You can't just tackle. If I have Keane and Vieira, they are different in stature, but they almost bring the same thing. Scholes scores more than both of them.
So if we're talking about goals, Lampard would have to be...
Of course.
I mean, Lampard's record of scoring goals consistently every season, 20 plus goals as a midfielder, has just not been matched. He was the best at that. Yeah, he was brilliant.
But was he better in terms of the overall than Scholes?
No. So, okay. So now we come to, and this is funny, it's either going to be the easiest decision or the most problematic.
I think if I know you, one of them is a dead cert, and the other one, it will come down to, I don't think he's even biased. He just was that good.
Oh, right. We are now talking about our strikers.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to reel off some names to you, right?
Yeah. Talk to me.
And I'm gonna read off these names, and we'll just go for. Well, let me just say these names out. Once I said the names, then we'll discuss.
Mm-hmm.
Henry, Alan Shearer, Sergio Aguero, Wayne Rooney, Dennis Bergkamp, Luis Suarez, Didier Drogba, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Ian Wright, Robin van Persie, Harry Kane, Michael Owen, Robbie Fowler, Dwight York, Andy Cole, Nicolas Anelka, and Torres, right?
Teddy Sheringham, Robin Van... Did you say Van Persie?
Teddy Sheringham! I said Van Persie.
Okay, Gianfranco Zola, Jimmy Floyd...
Doesn't make it for me. Doesn't make... Do you know what? Zola was great, but he doesn't...
No,
I didn't look at him as a... It's funny, Zola reminds me a lot of Hazard. Very talented players that I think were more midfielders than strikers.
Yeah, he was a number 10, but very good number.
But it was very, very good. Now, the reason why I rolled off all those names was because in one way or another, all of these strikers have been pretty amazing.
Facts.
But I bet you, because I was looking at your face,
Yeah.
I bet you were surprised when I said Harry Kane.
I didn't have him on my list.
The reason why I put Harry Kane on this list is because I believe he will break Alan Shearer's record for goal scores. He's only got to do 90 more goals, and he's young. He's not old. And I think that it's very easy for him to do 30 goals a season for the next 3 seasons, quite easily.
10%.
Or even
30 goals in the Prem.
Well, I think, but Shearer's goals aren't Prem, are they?
Yeah, it's only Prem goals.
Oh, Shearer's goals are only Prem.
Only Prem.
So how many goals did he score in total then?
This is what I'm saying. Alan Shearer, the first...
I thought his goals were accumulative of everything.
No. He got 260 in the Prem alone.
And then that's when you start to go, well, you can't. When you put it like that, you can't have a team that hasn't got Alan Shearer in it.
Is he your number one choice? That's what I wanted to ask you.
No,
I knew it. I knew it.
No, but the reason he's not my number one choice is, and you're going to think, no, that ain't right. He straddles the Premier League and Division 1, doesn't he? Hear me out. And so, no, let me finish. He straddles Division 1 and the Premiership. And so when we're talking about the early noughties, early 90s, sorry.
Yeah.
And the late 80s.
Yeah.
I don't think I noticed football as much as I probably would have done I was still quite young. So I kind of recognized a lot of his goals.
Yeah.
But I remember him at Blackburn.
Yes.
I remember him being a goal beast at Blackburn.
Facts.
But I don't remember him at Southampton. Because
for Southampton, he moved. You got to remember, Alan Shearer broke the transfer record twice.
Oh, wow.
The first one was when he moved from Southampton to Blackburn and started with them in the Prem. So anything with Southampton is Division 1.
So what I mean is that I remember people saying that he was a beast then.
He was.
And then he came to Blackburn and won the league with Blackburn and was a beast there as well. Oh, but then at Newcastle, because he didn't do anything, like they didn't win anything at Newcastle. It's a Gerrard
argument.
I know. And so where he slips into the conversation through the Blackburn link, but the Newcastle era where he's loved and respected, he didn't even do it as well as Gerrard.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
We have to got a bag of goals.
Look at the facts. Hold on. Let me give you a counter argument to that.
Yeah.
He broke the Newcastle goal scoring record.
Yeah, I'm not. Look. As I said, I'm going to be very, very honest with you.
Yeah.
My first choice is always going to be Thierry Henry.
I knew it was.
And the reason it's going to be Thierry Henry is because Thierry Henry raised us. We had Ian Wright before him, and we had Nicholas Anelka. We had Alan Smith. We had some amazing strikers, and Henry came as a winger and ended up being the best out of all of them. And it just blew my mind how great he was. And it was a great time to be an Arsenal fan when he was playing in that squad, and obviously Invincibles and blah, blah, blah. I remember watching Suarez and thinking, if this guy stays in the Premier League, he's going to break every record there is, because the guy can score for fun.
Yeah.
The beast that is Didier Drogba scored for fun with Lampard. Lampard and Drogba had the best assist up until Kane and Son beating them the other day. Dennis Bergkamp was an amazing striker and absolutely scored some of the best goals I've ever seen. But if you're going to say to me, who did I really I hated to love? Hated to love was Ruud van Nistelrooy. Yeah,
I was wondering when you were going to bring this guy to the table.
Ruud van Nistelrooy, I hated the guy. And that showed me how good he was. Because was the fact that when Arsenal played Man United, I got scared. If Van Nistelrooy wasn't playing, I was like, we got to win. this is going to be a game. But when Van Nistelrooy played in United colours, he was pretty much unplayable. He went to Real Madrid too early. I was glad when he left. Bye, see ya. But ultimately, my team would probably be And this is what I mean. I should have Alan Shearer in the squad, but I would be, if I said Alan Shearer, I'm saying it because it's what you do. It's what you say. Yeah, Alan Shearer. Yeah, he scored the most goals. He should be in the squad.
I 110% disagree with that. 110%.
I know, and this is why, I'm glad that we have this conversation because look at Sergio Aguero. Sergio Aguero has scored more goals in the Premier League than any other international player. He has broken loads of rules. He's loads of records. He's been an amazing player for his club. And I know that he's had not had the best of health. And I sincerely wish that he had been able to do well at Barcelona. He had to retire. I can't also, as I said at the very beginning, I believe Harry Kane will break the record, and I hope he does. I want us to have a modern striker who has the accolade of being the having scored the most goals. And Alan Shearer is of another generation. I don't want us to be. Sorry?
I don't believe because one, he has to stay in the Premiership.
Yeah, and I think he will if he goes to City. If he goes to City, how much?
Okay, hold on.
How many players are going to provide?
How many times?
You haven't even got a striker right now.
Remember, what is the goal scoring? What is the top single goal scoring record? It was 31 because it was Shearer.
Is it Salah? Salah
at 33, right? Before him, it was Suarez, 32.
Yeah.
Right? It shows you that guys can score goals, but to hit 30, which is what Kane would need to do for the next 3 to 4 years, it's not actually as easy as people think.
No,
he needs to play every game. He needs to not get injured, and he needs to be firing in a team that will make chances. He's not at City, so that's not. But
I feel like he had as his outlet the fact that it's not a coincidence that Son and him have the most assists.
No, of course not.
It's goals and assists, but that's because Son is the main channel for him.
Yes.
But at City, if he was to go to City, he would have Mahrez, he would have Grealish, he would have De Bruyne, he would have so many players.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for someone like Sterling because Harry Kane will put away the goals that unfortunately my boy tends to miss. And I think that if he was to go to, because as I said, City, think about this. City did not buy another striker. They didn't buy one.
No.
They said, we want Kane. And if we can't have Kane, we won't have anyone else. So they've got a whole season, which they're going to win the league with no...
Debatable.
I'm talking at the moment, they are
at the top. Yes.
They may not, obviously, Liverpool are on their heels. But what I'm saying is that my two strikers would be Henry and Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Oh, Lord.
Kane would be on the bench.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. This is the one that is going to cause the biggest thing. Right. I'm going back to the Kane thing. Kane has wasted the season. This season, he has wasted it.
Yeah, but he's unhappy. Wouldn't you be vexed? Wouldn't you have vexation? Wouldn't you be annoyed?
You would, but at the end of the day, right, you've got two options. And I don't know whether this is a thing or whether it really was, he had a long season, didn't really to rest in the summer. But to me, is he playing within himself to keep the value of his transfer down? Or do you show that I'm a gunman? Like I am out here and I score goals and I just do a madness. Like, because to me,
he didn't. He was sulking at the beginning.
Facts,
which I understand, and I kind of agree with it. He was given a gentleman's agreement.
We don't know that.
Don't have gentleman agreements with Tottenham.
This is it. At the end of the day, ain't nobody there apart from him and the chairman. None of us were there. That's what he's saying. But the chairman is a businessman. He's not going to come out and say, yes, I did, because out of all the, let's say it really is a gentleman's agreement. He's got other players he may have shook hands with as well, supposedly. And they're hearing, raw, you had a gentleman's agreement and you didn't fulfill it. So then I'm finished out here. So of course, he ain't going to say nothing.
No.
Right? I just don't understand that whole scenario. And for me in football, I don't know anything about no gentleman's agreement thing. So
I think that he has now proven, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's scoring goals now, but he's unhappy. And I think he doesn't want to, no disrespect to you, he does not want to be a Gerrard. He doesn't want to be a Gerrard. No,
of course.
He doesn't want to, because as I said, Gerrard won the Champions League. So
Gerrard won everything. This is
Harry Kane's trophy cabinet is all based on him.
It's the same as mine. It's the same as mine. And I'm not trying to mock the guy, but he hasn't got a trophy cabinet, but he deserves one for his sheer numbers. That's why, for me, if we're looking at the numbers thing, I can't see how or why Kane gets in over, even makes the bench over Alan Shearer. I don't get
as I said, you've as I said to you already, I picked Kane because I said, I personally believe, this is, unless he breaks his leg and quits the job, quits football, I think he will break Shearer's record. And then this conversation you and I are having will be mute. It won't, because you'll be like, the best player, you have the striker with the most goals. I think he will break the record. He's been in the league long enough to do it. I actually think he could probably break the record at Tottenham. It would just take him a lot more years to do it, and it'll be harder. Because Shearer, this is what I mean. I don't know the breakdown of his goals, and I don't know who. I mean, I know he was not a goal poacher, and I know that he was a gunman in the box. He was.
Shearer was that guy.
He was, and I'm not saying that he was. I'm not trying to belittle him. What I'm saying is that I probably can't appreciate Shearer as much as I can appreciate Henry, because he was just a little bit before me. Just a little bit.
I'm not having that. I'm not having that.
You just a little bit before. So do you know what?
He was.
Can you appreciate Maradona? No, you can't, because you were a kid when he was playing. But do you respect him? Can you appreciate Pele?
No, definitely not.
Right, you can't appreciate Pele. You can't Can you appreciate
Zidane?
Who?
Zidane?
No, not Zidane. I mean, I was going to say the Dutchman.
Cruyff.
You can't appreciate Cruyff. You can't. These are people that were big in the game before we were watching the game.
I'm going to argue with you. We were able to speak on Dennis Irwin,
who was in us.
We were able to speak on Lee Dixon, Nigel Winterburn.
Yeah.
Right? We picked Ryan Giggs, but we can't speak on Shearer.
You're right.
Don't do that.
Because of my scope of view with those players because I've watched them week in, week out.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And Shearer to me was just this striker who he played in Southampton, went to Blackburn, went to Newcastle, and he was this great striker who personally scored goals. Yeah, but his team did nothing. And did he win anything at Newcastle?
Nothing. He made 2 cup finals. Remember,
and that's what I mean. So for me,
guys in 98 or something. 98, you guys got the double. Mark Overmars just ripping it up.
Yeah,
he played in that final. The year after, Man United winning the treble, he played in that final. He lost them both.
Yeah. So
does that mean he's not great? No.
But I think that's where we talked about Gerrard, that they are players who. But then Shearer did win the league.
He won the league. His numbers.
Yeah.
Just for me, I'll give you this. Look.
Yeah, his numbers are amazing.
Shearer, left foot, right foot header. You could not tell what foot he was, because when he hit a ball, it stayed hit. It stayed hit.
You don't see that in Kane now, then?
Of course you
don't think Kane is left, right foot header? My God, that guy.
For me, Kane don't make the team because he hasn't won nothing. He hasn't won the league. I don't even know why he's on the bench.
I know.
I don't even know why he's on the bench. He has not won the league.
But this is why I said he's on my bench
Why? He didn't win the
Because
league.
I believe in him that when he goes to City, he will win the league.
No, he hasn't gone to City. If they don't pay the money, he is not going. No, it's not happening. Remove him from the bench, please. Please and thank you.
Right. So let me. So basically, we this is our team of the Premier League.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So guys, I know we've been talking.
I didn't say my strikers yet. I didn't say I agree with you.
Oh, shame. That was me. Sorry.
With you.
Okay, go on. Who are your strikers?
No. Listen, Henry makes it because he took being a striker in this league to a different level. He took it to a different level.
Yeah.
And even when Van Nistelrooy, because for me, Van Nistelrooy was the most clinical striker I've ever seen in this league. Amazing. He wasn't here long enough again.
No.
But the guy was clinical and he had the audacity to come and challenge Thierry Henry in his adopted backyard. And Henry was so insulted, he just elevated to another level again. That's why he makes my team.
Yeah.
Alan Shearer makes my team. You cannot, for me, I'm like,
he scores goals.
Guy scored the most goals in the Premiership. He was English, and you know that for a lot of people, there's a lot of English taps.
Yeah, but then why is it Peter Cech isn't your goalkeeper? Because he had the most clean sheets.
Remember, it's also about ability. Like I said, Shearer, left foot, right foot in the air. Bro, who do you think was, for me, the best that I saw in the air was Les Ferdinand. Shearer was there. Shearer could wham penalties. He could wham free kicks, right? He could play on his own. He could play in a 2. Didn't matter. Shearer scored goals. He guaranteed you goals. Like, you are 60, 70, 80. Like, he's about, I believe, 70, between 60 and 70 above the next man, who I think at a time was like Andrew Cole. Right, he's clear, bro, and that's 2 years worth of goals.
Yeah,
not getting injured. No, sorry, for me, Shearer makes the team. Shearer.
Okay, so it's Henry and Shearer as your strikers,
and Ruud van Nistelrooy on the bench.
And Ruud, okay, right.
But honourable mention to Suarez, because he took Shearer's record. One season, where he missed 6 games at the beginning of it. And he still scored 32 goals.
Yeah, he was a beast.
Listen, I'm not knocking it, but he didn't even make the bench. He didn't win the league. You're not in it.
Wow.
You're not in it.
So, can I just say that this has been the first conversation that we are having. If you have any topics, football related, that you'd like us to discuss, put it in the comments. Make sure you put in the comments what you would like for us to discuss next. If not, then we will just make up our own and we'll just talk about what we need to talk about.
As you can see, we do that.
Our team is brilliant. It's a good squad, a good solid squad. And I don't think that we can say much more than that.
Yeah.
Chris, anything you want to say before we bounce?
Keep watching us. You're going to get a lot more quality content coming in. So if you just want to talk about football and get involved, keep watching.
Yes, exactly. I second those sentiments. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching our crazy show. Until the next time, guys, just look, if you haven't hit that button, subscribe. Hit the like button, helps the algorithm, as you well know. And we will be discussing another topic very, very soon. People, take care and be safe out there. And until the next time, laters.